Hello and welcome to Chapter 6 and Chapter 7 review. In Chapter 6, we're going to be discussing activities and tools, working collaboratively and independently. So the benefits of doing these online activities is that they need to be frequent and varied. The activities actually engage the students in higher level thinking, including critical thinking and creative thinking skills, analysis, and problem solving. The course content is designed to encourage interaction between learners, and resources and activities support the learning outcomes, which are stated in the syllabus at the beginning of the course. So first is class participation and discussion. So online class discussions facilitate student class participation in an online course. There can be different types of discussion, for instance, social, general, or topic driven. A social discussion is very beneficial, especially at the beginning of the course, just to have students introduce themselves. A general discussion could be a teacher post something that the students have to talk about, or it can be topic driven where they actually discuss the course topics and they focus on a certain area for a period of time. Overall, the goal is to create a space that encourages discussion and community so that the students and the teachers get a chance to know one another. Online journaling activities are very beneficial as well. This helps the students reflect on their work. It engages the students, but they have to feel like they're in a comfortable environment and that they know the person reading it is comfortable as well. So you can do this via blogs, and this helps teachers assess how well students actually understand content in assigned readings. Shared knowledge base. One of the main parts that we'll discuss is the use of wikis. So wikis are nice because they're flexible and it's very collaborative. So a group of people can organize it in several different ways. They can modify it. And different documents can be created by using a wiki. For instance, a class glossary. This glossary can be created by the teacher, or it can be a collaborative effort by the students, and it just defines unfamiliar terminology within the course. This glossary needs to be easily accessible for the students at any given time. It can also be something like a timeline. This gives students a big picture perspective by having them create a list in the area of study. Other examples are annotations of case studies, readings, etc. Or you can even do storyboards for the class as well. Practice exercises are also very common in an online course. This can be something like the simple multiple choice questions that we all know, where the students have to select their answer. Matching, where they match something from column A to column B. And there's several of other types of exercises like gap-filled exercises, fill in the blank, true or false. You can even do something with a drag and drop that's a little bit more interactive, where they can actually manipulate phrases or objects and drag them around on the screen to drop them wherever they belong. Short answers are also a great way to assess your students' knowledge, but it does require feedback from the teachers. And then self-assessment, that's a great way for the students to get a sense of where they are in their course, and they can kind of help themselves figure out where they need to go from there. Group projects, obviously this is a collaborative effort, so learners are encouraged to benefit from interacting with others and their experiences and expertise. The important part of this is that you're specific in your direction so that the students are aware of their roles and responsibilities in these collaborative activities. You can do something like an online group presentation where learners work on a project together and they can actually upload their presentation, have it be a pre-recorded video, narrative slide presentation, etc. Or a group research project. And these projects are meaningful in that they get to select the topic and their resources. It helps people get more of a hands-on experience as opposed to just reading about something. So to summarize chapter 6, It's basically needs to be that activities are frequent and varied. Just like in this course, we're given several different activities every 2 weeks, and they're never the same. They're always either podcasting or making a web video. They're engaging students to think at a higher level. It allows them to interact between the learners. Resources and activities support those learning outcomes. It's a space where students can participate outside of the class, and there's sufficient opportunities for learners to actually collaborate with one another. The other thing is that teacher feedback does need to be provided in a timely fashion so that learners can incorporate that feedback. And another great thing is, as I mentioned before, the self-correcting or self-assessment activities, which should be used throughout the course, and that allows learners to look at themselves and try and figure out where they are at. So now we're going to move on to chapter 7. So this is resources that engage. Now that you know how the online course work with the activities, now you can enhance those activities with multimedia resources and supplementary materials. So the benefits of using these resources is that it illuminates the topic and it adds variety. So it allows students to kind of have more of a visual or auditory learning experience. You can provide more concrete examples, and it really supports different learning styles in that aspect. It also connects the students with other voices within the real world. So you can always do a text-based supplemental resources, and that's basically where you just choose texts that support what the class is about and it enriches the content. Now you can always have different text-based resources from online journals and magazines to scientific studies, documents, and experiments. There are various materials that can be accessed through institutional online library. Cal State Long Beach has its own extensive library that you can always utilize. So just figure out what that is at your school. You want to encourage students to actually go out and find resources that promote learning as well. That way they're engaged in that. But you do need to emphasize the consequences of plagiarism and cheating, as that could happen as well. So images are always great. That enhances the course content and provides for a supportive learning experience. Certain things are really enhanced by using graphs and charts and diagrams so that the reader really understands it. This helps those that are more visual in their learning. Audio and video, this really adds more of a personal feel and real-world experiences as opposed to just looking at their computer. It allows people to kind of process the information in an auditory manner as well as a visual manner. And since people learn differently, this is very beneficial. You can always use internet resources that are already available in videos, or you can make your own audio and video. So voices and perspective. So you can use various different voices in your class. You can use the class itself, and that includes the teacher and students. You can do an expert voice in which you have someone come in, or experiences from the field, which again, you can have someone come in and participate in that. So voices from the class for teachers, again, just doing that audio and video commentary, maybe have teachers make those clips that reflect the topic. The other thing is when there are assignments, the teachers can have a clip to introduce that, or at the completion of the assignment, kind of sum up the key concepts. For students, they can respond or they can present initially with audio or video clips. The main thing with that is that you want to keep it short, generally about 5 minutes, so that it still engages the audience. Direct expert interaction, you can have guest speakers where they can post something, or it can be an online chat. It might be an indirect interaction as well, where students go to an expert site and they respond to it somehow. And in that case, the teacher will actually give the student feedback. Experiences from the field, this is really great, especially in those areas of medicine, social work, something where hands-on is a lot more beneficial. It exposes the students to what they'll really face in that particular field or occupation. Websites and online web-based tools, that's kind of core components when developing the resources. A lot of audio and video production can actually be done on your laptops and computers, but you can also download software to help with that too, like iMovie or Captivate. Most of the new LMUSs, they actually have built-in tools to help with video recordings as well. Um, Lastly, we're going to talk about just accessibility. Resources obviously need to be easily accessible. You need to have it formatted in a way that it's available to students. So if students need to download something like QuickTime to see the video presentations, you need to allow them time to do that. Whenever you're discussing a resource that has a link to it, always create the link. And portability, test to see if your course website is accessible on a mobile device. Assistive technologies also can help with accommodating those with disabilities like visual problems. And that's really all that I have for you for chapter 6 and 7. Let me know if you have any questions.